What is up, dudes and dudettes? Dudediligence here. And yesterday the video that I posted, I was actually in the hospital to do a annual check for certain things, and then it's just physical check, no blood works, and I think I got exposed to COVID. I'm not really sure. When I got back, I got really headaches and everything. And this morning I had a fever. But I promised you guys this video, so I'll still post this video. It's gonna be a little bit short, and hopefully it helps a lot during the volatile market, especially pricing your risk. A is pricing your risks, and B is sort of chunk your position sizing to make it make sense. Okay, a lot of you guys are involved in high risky trades, especially a lot of you take on option trading. So this concept is really important. So let's get into it. I'm sorry if my voice sounded a little bit chunky, because I don't know why. Because I took some is it Tylenol? I'm not really sure. I took some medicine that you do for fever, and then it just makes my nose a little bit congested for some reason. So if you search the term risk of ruins on the internet, and this is why I didn't put my face on here, because I actually looks like hell, because my face and my lips is like a little bit purple. It's really weird. So if you search risk of ruins on the internet, right, there are going to be a lot of references to gambling, because for example, for those of you who play Hold'em, Texas Hold'em, you will know that a lot of the times all these players who bet pot size, who bet ante, who basically bet like half a pot or 1/3 of a pot, depending on their odds of their hands. For example, if you have a hand of full house, or you have a hand of a 2 of a kind, or a pair, depending on the river odds and depending on the gambling odds, you can calculate on if you bet this amount of money, and then assuming that you're the unluckiest of the unluckiest, what is the probability that you're gonna lose all of it? Okay. So in a layman's term, risk of ruin is the probability, which is the percentage of you losing all the money on a bet, which in this case is just me on one trade. Or you can understand it as the probability, or it's not really like a probability, or the expected return or ruin, right? Like loss, technically speaking, of your position if X amount were invested and Y situation happens. Okay. Need to make this a little smaller. So, what are some examples of risk and ruins, right? I will try to give you guys an example in a stock market, and on Patreon, I will be giving you guys access, not really access, you can just ask me, give me a stock ticker, and I'll give you the risk of ruins of that stock ticker based on a recency bias of the past 150 days. If it's a stock that haven't traded for 150 days, then it's gonna be for the recent 30 to 60 day, which means a lot of those values, or these historical value, will be weighted a little bit higher than the other values. But let's just say it's the Nasdaq, you have 40 years of data, then we weigh, we can do risk of ruins that we weight every single day that as equal, or we can calculate risk of ruins based on 40 years of data, but we more emphasized on the past 150 days. We can do that. And then you guys can basically, ask me, be like, #DD on Patreon. And so, we're looking at stock A or stock B or Apple or whatever. And each Patreon member every week has one ticker that can do for risk of ruins. I mean, I guess this is one of the reasons that you guys want to join Patreon, and I will put on a chart in terms of like what can you use risk of ruin for. Like, let's just say, so for example, right, there's an example, like in gambling, risk of ruins basically is the probability that it will drop all of your money because of, a string of loses. Okay, so for example, like suppose we were let's just say we're rolling a dice, and I said I would give you $2 for every $1 you bet. If a row of a single dice came up with 4, 5, or 6. So for every row of 4, 5, and 6, you get $2 for $1 bet. Okay, so it's a 2-to-1 odd. Well, it's a 2-to-1 payout ratio, technically speaking. Okay, and then you technically want to bet as much as you can, since it's really great odds. Like the chances that 4, 5, or 6 will come up to a dice will be 50%, right? Since there are 6 sides, so 3 of those sides will pay you 2-to-1, and two out of 1 of those sides will basically lose all of your money. So the odds indicated that if you roll 4 times, you're most likely would get the expected value would be 2 losses and 2 wins. If you bet 100 each time, then you probably will lose twice and win twice for a net gain of $200. So how do you calculate that? So when you bet 100 each time, 2 times when you lose, 2 times negative 100 equals to negative 200, correct? And then because for every $100 you bet, you have a 2-to-1 payout ratio, then technically speaking, if you win twice and you have you have $400. So how do we really use this in a stock situation? Then we have to talk about some Greeks. Well, technically in this video we don't really want to touch on Greeks. So in this video we're just gonna talk about so one of the easiest way to determine the risk of ruins, if you figure out the percentage of upside happening, which is the percentage, which is automatically equals to the percentage of the stock traded more than, well, actually you can do like X% more than the previous days close. Okay, and one of the easiest way that you can, one of the examples that we can give is probably NASDAQ, because we have a lot of data for that. And then percent of downside happening, right, equals to percent of the stock traded X% less than the previous days close. Okay, and for the simplicity of this video, we're not going to include it X% in here or X% less. We're just going to say these axes are the same. Okay, so we're just going to ignore that coefficient value instead of using it as a variable. So in this case, your risk of ruins, you can calculate as your position size times, let's use 5 trading day as a regular trading session, but in this case we want to calculate return on a 10-day trading day basis. Okay, so assumption, sorry, my brain is a little bit scrambled because of the fever. Assumption is we don't calculate return on 5 trading day basis, but on 10. So then assumption number 2 would be you would assume that the first week you just lose all of it. So first week you lose. There are actually multiple situations you can do this, but in this case we just make it simple. Actually, we just make it simple. Okay, we do this. So one day you lose, one day you win, one day you lose, and blah 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 until 10th day, right? This is one way of doing this. Another way of doing this is a little bit hardcore, which is you will do 5-day losing streak, and then you will do 5-day winning streak. Okay. In terms of NASDAQ, the most likely what happen would be assumption 2. So big indexes, or let's just say big indexes and stocks with huge liquidity, which just means it has lower slippery cost. Those are more likely to go into assumption number 2. And then number 3 would be something like, I don't know, something like MMAT. You can use this model because the probability of a 5-day losing streak is actually super high. So then in order to do this calculation, and the reason why you guys need me, is you need to figure out the probability, the percentage of losing streak. And then you need to figure out the probability of winning streak. And we have to figure out the probability of basically flattened or normalized. We want to get the percentage of normalized volatile returns. So we're not talking about like, you know, returns in a situation where it's like right now, like the market is really uncertain, but it's more like when market is semi-certain, semi-uncertain, like it performs as normally as it is, what's its actually betting odds. So with the combination of all three, we will get the consolidated betting odds for a stock. Or more likely, it's just a risk of ruin of a stock. In this case, the risk of ruin, it's basically, it's more closer to scenario number 3 or assumption number 3, or it's more likely to be, in this case, because it's not really a gambling or betting situation, because in reality, if you don't trade options, you're just trading stocks, the probability of you losing 100% of the value of the stock is actually literally equals to 0, unless you encountered you know, stocks like, I don't know, MMAT or some random merger stock that on one day it's $10, after a couple months it becomes $1, and then people keep thinking it's gonna do a squeeze, but it won't, and just keep dragging down until the next reverse split. That will happen. But that literally happens in a very small baskets of stocks. So in basically in this course or in this video, what we're really trying to figure out is the time frame of how you are going to lose your entire position. Or more precisely, it's more like the probability of you lose percent of your position based on the previous behavior of the stock. Okay, so a prime example here is, let's use NASDAQ. Okay, if you use NASDAQ, and where is the ticker? So if you use NASDAQ, so let's just say we use NASDAQ as an example. Use NASDAQ. We all know that NASDAQ has a, I think it's 51% to 49 payout ratio to 49. So 49 lose, 51 up, 51 win, and then the actual betting odds, I think it was, what was it? Daily betting odds is almost 0%. That means it's a fair bet. That means a 1-to-1 payout ratio is a 50% probability of happening. That's daily. But if you do it on weekly, or us, we're trying to do it on bi-weekly basis, you're actually looking at almost a 2% edge. Okay. Edge. Oh, sorry, my brain. So then what after you look at this video, what you really need to figure out, or what we can figure out together, is due to or because of the fact that we have a natural edge of 2% on the IXIC, which is the ticker symbol for NASDAQ, we should position our size or betting size or stock size or portfolio size, we should position in this way. Right? I mean, you guys can try and figure that out. But of course, you can join a Patreon and we can, discuss it together. And even we have a 2% edge, there are different ways of structuring the bet based on how risky you are and your sensitivity towards. So another question you have to ask yourself, right? I mean, before you join Patreon, before you join a conversation or whatever, and all of these analysis will be done after I feel better, of course, because right now I'm actually not really feeling that well. What you have to figure out is, what does 50% mean to you? Okay. And then another question is, what probability do you prefer? For example, like what probability indicates certainty? You can't be telling me 100% indicates certainty because that's just dumb. You can only pick a probability from 20%, actually 10% also works. 10% to, I give you a 90%, okay? Because no algorithm can give you over 90% accuracy that's actually accurate. So yeah, pick a probability that you think you will prefer or you would risk for the biscuits. Like some people will do 20%, some people will do 70%. And then within that, we can figure out the risk profile. And then from that risk profile, we can do a personalized position size analysis for you guys for a particular stock. But when it's becoming multiple stocks, then it gets complicated. Why? Because we need to take an account of portfolio alpha, portfolio beta, and I think you have to also do consolidated Vega, but in here we're just not going to cover, and we have to just do let's just do all these two. Just do a very preliminary and beginner friendly. Okay, this is for the video. Hope you guys love it. See you guys on the upside, and I will post this right away. Probably make a pretty nice thumbnail, and all the Patreon members will have access to this way before everybody else. So I'll just post it unlisted first for them to watch, and then later on I can post this tomorrow morning or something. And afterwards, I will make an MMAT video tomorrow morning if I don't feel this sick. Thank you guys. If you like this kind of content, smash a like button and subscribe. See you guys on the upside. If you have any questions, comment down below. And you're more than welcome to join the Patreon and join the Discord. We make very friendly conversations, discussions there. And on Patreon or on YouTube, actually, I will be posting a very interesting GME scenario analysis. And on Patreon, I will be basically running it down. For example, if 50% this happened, how would you trade it if you have option, or if you don't have options? And if this happened, what should you do? And this happened, this is what I would do, and blah 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 blah. This will be the feature of this month, I guess. And then we probably gonna cover a little bit about leverage positioning hedging in Patreon. That will be really fun to do. And again, we're not financial advisors. We do not give financial advices, and everything we say on this channel is for shits and giggles. See you guys on the upside.